to Movie Crap Live. And here we go. We are going... I believe we're live. Hello. Welcome to Movie Crap Live. Sorry we're a little late tonight, or I'm a little late tonight. Hope that's not too bad. I was hanging out with the kid. And so, can you hear me? Here we go. Oh, there we go. So sorry about that being a little late. Maybe I caught some of you that I wouldn't normally catch. Let me send out the tweet there. There we go. There we go. Hope you guys are all having a good night tonight. Hello to Rocket Lobax, Austin. I like that quote, Austin. Daniel Foga, El Mono Loco Zodberg, Jordan Solafalo, Adrian Dwazga. Adrian's here. Medella Butterfly, Purple Goop, a guy named Crystal, Bruce Parker, Ryan Walter said, this isn't Snick. Nathaniel Foga, Sunspot Mill, Discount Viscount, Zodberg, Bruce Parker, Disco Spider, K-Master, Ace the Win, Ryder, and the Steve Meister, and Twisted Razor, and Sinram. Yes. All right. It is a Saturday night. It is time for movie crap. I feel like I should show my face. Oh, I didn't set this up right to show my face. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Let's... Okay, you gonna listen to me? Thank you. Okay, you gonna put that right there? Okay, thank you. And do the fade and hello. Welcome to Movie Crap Live. Thank you very much. Hello, Mr. W. But yes, we are here. Sorry I'm late. I was actually... Oh, Buster's here. Hello, Buster. I was actually watching... I guess it's Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster with my daughter. And that went... And we had to do a bath. We had to get dinner. So it took a little bit. It took a little bit longer than I anticipated. So that's why I'm a little late tonight. But she is in bed. We had a good time. Godzilla... Hello, Coral Tender. Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, or Igba Terror of the Deep or something. See, we saw it for Godzilla and Mothra. Mothra is just a lot of hype in it. Doesn't really do that much. But the Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster parts were great. She loved those. Hello, Tyler. So that was a lot. And TuneJ723. And that was really cool. Originally, I was going to watch it on HBO Max. But HBO Max incorrectly said the language on that film was English. And I looked. And when I played the movie, oh, hello, Alnick. It was not in English, actually. They just labeled it as that for some reason, so I had to find an English dub, which is annoying. Apparently, HBO Max does not always have the right language. In fact, I had another language problem with them when I started watching Conjuring 3. If for some reason put it in Spanish. But I did keep watching for a little bit just to see, like, maybe it's different. I don't know. But yeah, but Mothra really wasn't just utilized very well. But Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, which is like this crap thing, that was great. That was wonderful. And we had a good time. It's on, the English dub is on YouTube. Just look it up. What the original title is, not the Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Although that's the title in the film. Oh, here we go. Discount Viscount. Who would win in a fight? Godzuki or King Kong Jr.? Well, first super chat of the night for Discount Viscount. I'm going to say, hello, Evil Ghost Ninja. Cheers to you. I'm actually going to say King Kong Jr. because King Kong Jr. can throw down. But wasn't there like a Mighty Joe Young sequel like that? Like, I think Mighty Joe Young Jr. might do better. I might be making that up. And then Nonbox64 with another super chat. Thank you very much. And hello, Jordan Bouchard. Thank you very much. Said, if you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. It's a classic song and a great music video. I haven't watched that video in a while. Maybe I will after this. Cheers to you, Nonbox64. Okay. I have to do one thing. It's really silly, but it'll calm the cats down. I have to turn off the light in the hall, which I forgot to do because there's been a rush. So I'm going to go run and do that. Everybody behave, and then we will continue the small talk. Hold on. Sorry, I could tell they weren't gonna go to sleep, start calming down if I didn't do that. I was watching them walk around a little bit. I was like, this could go bad. All right, let's see. Other things this past week, I had a Spyscape video come out for Michael B. Jordan, which I'm very proud of. So check that out. Had my own videos. I had a video almost every day. This is 6 days in a row. Tomorrow and Monday, I don't think I'm going to have anything. But the last 2 days, the next 2 days, nothing. But you got 6 days of constant content and a Spyscape video, which is also made by me. So it's like kind of crazy there. I felt like there's something else. Buster, be nice. Okay. So, to explain something that happened this week. So, if you are subscribed and I say, hey, why don't you... Oh, thank you. Everybody likes my... This is done by, like, this guy Beast Pop, and I used to have a lot of his shirts. I still have a lot of his shirts. I really haven't kept up with him. I need to see what he's doing now. But anyway, hello, Chan Reviews More. So, if you subscribe to me, I say turn notifications on because I will do instant premieres. And you probably saw the MODOK review went up without sound. And then you saw I suddenly did a premiere. I did the premiere because I felt embarrassed that I accidentally uploaded a review without any sound. Now you're probably like, why would you have a review without sound? Like, why would that even be a thing? Well, I was working on something different, something new. This is in 2 videos, and I haven't seen a lot of anyone talk about it. And I know I don't usually go like, please notice me, but I actually like made something different, and I kind of just want to show it off. Even though I guess it is out. It's in literally the last 2 videos. Also, I keep seeing people say the MODOK reviews lost media. It's really not, because I didn't change any editing. It didn't have sound. So if you want to experience that, and I don't think it was up long enough to have actually watched the whole review, then just mute it and watch it for 2 minutes, and you'll get the same experience. But, so, if I can get this to work, if I cannot, okay, hold on. Okay, we're going to try. This is a little tricky to get work, so let's do it. Let's see. There it goes. See, I made a new subscribe button. Look at that. I drew that all myself. It's a little dumb, but I like it. It goes, subscribe if you would like to. And then it flashes. Hold on. I'll do the whole thing real quick. And subscribe if you would like to. And see? So it's in the last 2 videos. I animated that myself. I'm kind of messing around with animation right now, but I want to do show it off. So it is in the last Cruella review, and what was before Cruella? The other thing. Fritz the cat. That's it. It's in both of those. So it's going to be no, the video's not awesome. The video's not over. But yeah, so I'm just trying to make different kind of stuff because I was thinking like, oh, I should have one of those neat subscribe things like everyone else does. But I kind of thought I'd do something crappier and different, and I thought that would be cool. So anyway, I just trying to do something a little different. With that, I might be doing a little more animated things, but we'll see. More about that later. But anyway, sorry, nobody said anything. I was like really proud of that stupid thing. It's 4 drawings, so not exactly. Yeah. I should probably do stream stuff, but I think there's too many projects I'm focusing on at once, really. Yeah, let's get into it because it is getting late, even though I guess this isn't... I keep moving stuff. But yes. All right. God, I feel like there's like something else. It's not the craziest movie news show this week, so I think we're probably not going to have a ton of news, but we'll see. But yeah. What is... Wait, What music video? Anyway, sorry. I shouldn't look at the chat because sometimes I'm like, we just want to sit here and read it. I can just read it when I do time code later. All right. So, but hey, you saw the subscribe button. I feel good that everyone seemed to like it. That makes me feel good. Thank you all for your compliments, for making me feel good about drawing with a pencil, animating something. So, first thing I've animated that I've put out in like a long time. Anyway, sorry. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show or through Patreon, which is linked below in the description of this video. If you give me a super chat, I will drink some Red Bull. Say I got a Red Bull. I have 2 Red Bulls traditionally. And I will drink that and read your thing or answer your question or whatever during the stream. Or if you do Patreon, you get all sorts of cool exclusives like postcards, more power in the movie review vote. That vote closes Monday. So if you have not voted on the movie review vote, you traditionally have a week. Sometimes I'll say that in the video. Most people stop voting after a couple days. But, so it's not really an issue. But if you haven't voted, please do so. Yeah, you get that. You get my commentary series, which I'm going to put out one of those this week. You actually get to know what the vote totals are in the movie review vote. I'm putting that video this week. There's postcards, which I'm also mailing out this week. A lot of Patreon stuff. All sorts of cool perks. Exclusive videos. You can actually see my Scooby-Doo Christmas special video. What are we? How many? Like before Christmas, because I made it too late for last Christmas. So all sorts of cool features, probably things. Oh, you can watch my public access shows. The only place to watch it on demand is through there, except for the one episode that's on YouTube. Otherwise, you can find it if you want to on the Brooklyn Free Speech YouTube. But anyway, yeah, it's if you're financially able to help me out and help me be able to sorry, I don't know why I laughed at that. If you're financially able to help me out, it helps me like get this computer, actually get new equipment, continue making content, continue making cool stuff, and it generally makes me feel really good and really appreciated. If 6 months, Jim, what's that mean? If you are not financially able to do so, just liking or subscribing or even watching, if you just want to watch and don't want to commit, that's cool too. But if you do subscribe and turn on notifications, I do instant premieres. And you can know when those happen. So yeah, I only do instant premieres for reviews traditionally, but sometimes for other segments. And Nattenbox64 says, with a super chat, by the way, the Oaxis link reverted back to Butch's main site. I did see that. I will talk about that very shortly. Cheers to you. And the Discord, which has all sorts of cool stuff, like the Discord, which has all sorts of cool stuff, like General Ask Jim, where I try to answer questions. I think there's a bunch I've not answered but need to. Suggestions, which actually 2 of the segments tonight were both suggestions by viewers, one through Twitter, one through Discord, and lost. There's a lost film section. There's a novelty playing cards channel, which these cards are still holding up. So I don't know when we'll get a new picture of mine, but other people can show those. Also, they do watch-alongs, which I did last night. They do all sorts of cool stuff. So if you like the community during this show, please check it out. 6 months till Christmas. I get what people are doing. I'm sorry. Sorry. I just figured it out. It's been an epically long day. But Zane Powers and Austin do an amazing job running the Discord, and I applaud them for doing so. Please hang out there if you want to be part of the community and all this stuff. And apparently they watched Cartoon All-Stars last night, so that's cool. And I probably will repost the Scooby-Doo thing for Christmas in July on Patreon, even though it's already there, but just to be funny. All right, where are we with all of it? Yeah, today was an epic day. I forgot I was going to mention that because I'm a little scatterbrained because, like, I had to take a shuttle to, like, the subways were a mess today, both going, it was just like, it's late to work. I did, okay, here's one thing. I listened to MF Doom's Operation Doomsday. Never, I've heard that album before. I've probably heard Mad Villainy more and the Adult Swim thing. Hello, Nina Garcia. But then I listened to it, like, on my way home. I think I listened to it twice. It's so good. I think I'm really falling in love with that. That's great. As well as I'm, like, going through an REM phase when when the times I do get to work from home. It's just, like, really, REM, really great band that's underappreciated. All right. Like, seriously, REM, like when I was thinking about, like, how many of their albums I really like, and I was like, oh, I can think of, like, right, I'll just do it right now. It's like Murmur, I think is a classic. Document Green, Automatic for the People. Out of Time is kind of inconsistent for me. I grew up with Monster a lot. And I don't like Adventures in Hi-Fi, and I tried again, and I wasn't as into. And then, but Up was like a big album for me in high school. But then I like need to get into post 2000s REM because I really don't. And early 80s because I feel like I go Murmur and then Green Document. I don't. Anyway, I used to be a huge REM fan in the 90s, and I like, they were the first band I got into. They're really good. Check out REM. They're just like cool. And I watched their Behind the Music and I was like, they're such great people. Like, why did they not become, like, why did U2 get to be that famous? Like, REM should, but REM wouldn't be that famous, which makes them even better people. Anyway, all right. You didn't come to this dear Jim rant about REM. Unless you did. Should we just make this Jim rants about how great REM is on a show that's called Movie Crap Live? How appropriate. What is my first segment? Okay. The Nimona Footage. Now, this linked in someone's reel. And basically, anytime I did get to watch it, like, on my phone, and then it was taken down, and then I didn't get to watch it any other time. It's been re-uploaded, because as soon as I clicked on it, it's gotten taken down very quickly. It looked pretty cool. I would have liked to have watched it again before this, but I couldn't, because I didn't fucking find it. It looked great. Unfortunately, there's not much to say. I'm curious. I've heard from the inside people making YouTube videos, people don't want to make a video on it because they're afraid it'll get taken down, and no one really wants to make a video on something. And I feel like the buzz on it isn't strong enough. I'm curious if someone makes a lost media thing about it in 5-10 years, if they will figure out a way around that. But it's cool to know there's some of it done, at least. That doesn't mean, like, there was huge finished parts, because animation, and especially features in terms of production, can change fairly rapidly. So I don't... Tunjay, you can hook me up? Okay. Hook me up. I'd like to really go through it. I actually would. So if you could, Tunjay, hook me up. I don't want to see any of this like there's a completed cut nonsense, because that's just not fucking true. Because I saw some of that, and it's like, that's not how production works. And it's not like, if there's a feature, I would say, if there is a feature, I would actually say, like a live action feature, I would say, oh, maybe there's a few scenes, but like sometimes there'll be certain elements done, certain others. But I'm glad someone was able to show some of it. I still don't get. Here's my thing with Nimona, and this is less about the footage, but more about like my questions of Disney as a corporation. Is Disney has brands that are building that they are just not pushing. Like one that's in particular, and I know we're not talking about how. I know we're not talking about it as much, but Bluey. Okay. John Barton also has a super chat. Cheers to you, John Barton. Thank you. Okay, so people have it downloaded. So if someone wants to send it to me, please do. But I thought it was good. I don't think there's much to say about it. Unless someone wants to send it to me right now. I guess I'll rewatch it quietly or something. But cheers to you, John Barton. Thank you for the super chat. But what was I going to say? All right, let me talk about this. And if someone can DM it to me, I guess, while I'm doing this little rant. Like they have a show like Bluey, which Sophie really likes and all of her friends like and all that stuff. And that show is huge. but like they only sort of put it on the tiles on Disney Plus. And it's like, why aren't you pushing more of your original stuff? Because so many people say, oh, all Disney about. Well, Disney doesn't own Bluey, Ryan. You are correct, but Disney does, I guess, distribute Bluey in America, and I think it is part of their brand in America. And I'm obviously speaking from an American perspective. But I'm saying like if you have all these other brands, why aren't you pushing them as much? Because they would increase your streaming service. Like it would make. I think there are a lot of people who like the Marvel stuff who would like Owl House, who would like Amphibia. Can I open? I think my DMs are open. I think. Am I not following you, TuneJ723? I think I am following you. I thought so, unless you have a weird name. Anyway, I don't think this is going to work during the show, but apologies. I think we just have to be following each other. Anyway, Jordan Bouchard says, REM is covered in You Talking You Two to Me Pod. I'll link you. What? I'm confused what any of that meant, but cheers to you. I'm curious. I'd like to listen to it. We're getting all this REM talk. This is great. Cool. Jordan Bouchard, thank you for the super chat. But anyway, I just think what this means for Nimona is I think they looked at this as this is not part of our brand's Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. And it's like you should have more than that because eventually I think some of these things will falter or get less popular. And if you have these other brands building, it could help you. And I think Nimona could have done that. I think it would have been cool, much like how Netflix has these huge hits with Mitchell's vs. the Machines or Klaus. You could have taken a page out of that book, but whatever. Yeah, they just got J. What was that? Why did it just? Oh, it's a podcast they cover. Okay, I need to stop checking too many things. This is getting weird. This is definitely a looser show. All right, it's a podcast, but they cover U2, REM, and Talking Heads. Okay, that's interesting. I will listen to it. Anyway, I think they should prioritize more of that stuff because I think they can use it better. Now, let's move on to the other thing that was on the internet for like a week, but now, or for just very quickly, and then was Oaxis went out suddenly. I'm not sure how exactly someone found out it came out, but pneumonia. That's okay. That's weird. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna watch the thing right now, but TuneJ, anyway, let me know what your Twitter is and we'll figure it out from there. It's TuneJ723. Okay. I will figure this out post show because we got to move on. I did start late. So Butch Hartman, we found in Oaxis kind of a page that just like linked to stuff. It looked like a page you would show to investors. It didn't look like the actual Oaxis. And it was there and then it wasn't. And he did some drawings of things. We saw like it looked kind of. I don't really understand what he's thinking with this. The thing I don't get about the streaming service stuff is everybody thinks they can have a streaming service. And in a sense, I get that there are cult streaming services like Shudder. I think Shudder understands that market. And I think if you are doing a very specific market, it makes total sense. But when you get into these weird, like, family entertainment, I have so many options. Like, why would I fucking want that? Like, why would I want, like, a family? And it's like, I have Disney Plus, I have this. To me, what would have been more radical with Oaxis is if he made it free. Like, free streaming is really a big industry that people don't talk about because it's not as cool and as big, but it's as huge as Netflix and stuff. But if you're talking about a smaller streaming service, it's like, look at all the press Tubi gets and Pluto and things like that. Like, he almost gets more. I actually would say Tubi gets more talked about on film cinephile podcasts than the Criterion Channel. And I'm not being shitty to the Criterion Channel or something. Just saying because Tubi is doing something, and Pluto are doing things like you can just turn it on and watch and find interesting stuff there. So I think that's, to be honest, if I worked for Butch Hartman, which I wouldn't because he sounds like he's awful to work for, but I would say like just make it free, dude. Like just make it cheap and free, and you actually make some money. But thinking like people are going to pay $5 for this, but it's just funny. Like this Oaxis story will never die. It'll just keep going. Butch will keep acting like it's going to happen. Butch is almost like, I wonder if Butch Hartman is like the ultimate troll. Like he's not this clueless and stupid and a bad businessman and a horrible human. Like he is actually is a great human and trolls us this whole time. I wonder. But Zane Power says, what would your stream be like? What would your streaming service be like? It would just be Pluto. Pluto and Space Ghost and 12 Ounce Mouse. And it would just, I would just want a feed on Pluto, and it could just be whatever I feel like watching. And if I am watching something, it would have to go up on there. So cheers to you, Zane Powers. But I will say, none of the ideas that I came up with, basically what I'm saying to Butch Hartman, if you're going to troll us, I will troll you. I came up with a better Oaxis as a joke on April Fools than you did, motherfucker. So all I'm saying is I'm challenging you, Butch. I'm challenging you. My video worked. What? Yeah, I can watch it now. Everybody could watch it right now. I think more people currently are subscribed to my YouTube channel than are subscribed to Oaxis currently. So who's winning now? I think it's me. I think I created Butch Hartman's childhood, which makes no sense, but under these rules, I control the space-time continuum, and I think I controlled his parents' childhood as well. I'm going to be like that German space show or something that I watched and don't remember the name of. Dark, was it? Doesn't matter. Point is I have beat Butch Hartman at being Butch Hartman. I am better at running Oaxis. Fuck Butch Hartman. Anyway, here we go. All right, we have 2 super chats here. Sorry. I just realized I could do a dumb rant. Natbox64, love the fact that Butch tried to tout about how his service will have WB and Disney content, despite the fact that both will never put it there. That's true. Cheers to you, Natbox64. And we have John Barton, the mini footage that got taken down, linking Spires in 7 days. Goes between we and TI. Oh, I guess this is the link for it. Okay, well, thank you, John Barton. Cheers to you. I hope Disney's lawyers do not come for you because of this. All right. Butch's parents grew up on Knockforce. I mean, that's just what I've heard. Oaxis ended faster than Quibi. It ended faster than watching a Quibi. All right. Created Butch Hart. You know what? It's true. Anyway, if you can find the link, it just goes back to his dumb website. So whatever. All right. So, since we're on a funny roll, Paw Patrol. I want to give Paw Patrol some credit, actually. ACAB. But I want to give Paw Patrol some credit because Paw Patrol is actually doing it. Like, in all seriousness, I want to just bring it down. Hello, Page Hard. That I think Paw Patrol did a responsible thing, which I also think Boss Baby's doing as well. Which I'm glad they are, because as I've said before, and in all seriousness, children cannot be vaccinated currently. Anyone under 12, who, to my understanding, are children, you should, can't be vaccinated, so probably shouldn't be going to theaters. So that's why if your animated movie is going to a streaming service, it's actually responsible. It is. And Paw Patrol chose that to go to, it's Paramount Plus, correct? Fuck. I believe so. Where else would it go, really? Right? I think it does. Anyway, yes, Paramount Plus. Sorry. It's been a long day. But it's going to Paramount Plus. I think that is... I will give Paw Patrol a lot of credit for this. Believe it or not, even though it comes out in August, I think it's August 20th. I'm sure all of you are really looking forward to. Hold on. CPAB. All puppies are bad. Cruella was right. Cheers to you too, J723. Paw Patrol is more cinema than Mank and Blood Tea. Holy shit. What was that? God damn. I actually came up with an ACAB thing, and I don't want to say it because it's really dumb. But I thought of it because Sophie was talking about Zootopia, and I was thinking, all cops are bunnies. I should get canceled for that. All right. But anyway, I agree with them doing that. It's fine. The movie looks like fucking garbage. I don't think it's responsible to show to your kids, as I've said before. I haven't watched that much of it, but anything that's clearly saying hey, cops, these are puppy dog cops, aren't cops great? And then I noticed they got all the celebrities who show that to their kids, which is also distressing that none of them who work in media think about the extra layers of media, which is also distressing that the people who are in charge of these things are not realizing the moral implications of what they're putting on their children. But whatever. I just think Paw Patrol was I don't think it's responsible for children, but I think what they did is actually responsible for their audience. So I have to give them credit for that. Same with Boss BB too, but I thought that was responsible, especially with Not Fair for Buddies. I like that everyone's that's everyone's more mad that I insulted buddies than I took. Thank you, Adrian. But I think I don't care much about Paw Patrol, but yes, also Kim Kardashian is in Paw Patrol movie. Yeah, not in Box 64. I did see that, which, by the way, that is interesting since she often works to free people who are wrongly incarcerated. So you think she would mean that, but I'm not going to get into the Kardashians and their deals with the black community. I don't think I should be the person to say that, but it's telling that she's in the Paw Patrol movie, but not in Box 64. Cheers to you. All right. Watch Black Femininity TV. I think that's probably the thing to take away from that. All right. So Jupiter's Legacy was canceled by Netflix this week, pretty much. They won't say it was canceled, but they released everyone from their contracts and are not making a season 2. So in every way that is, they basically are here's the definition of canceled, but it's not canceled. Whereas at the same time, and this isn't even a joke, it turned out to be #1 on Nielsen's for streaming the week it came out, which is insane. I don't understand. Which also shows you the Nielsen streaming numbers are clearly garbage because Netflix just canceled a $200 million production. And it was #1 on Nielsen, which they had to have known before because it happened a few days later. So I don't know what's going on with this. This is probably one of the more interesting ideas, and it probably shows you what is going on in terms of the disparity of the numbers between what's actually being released and what Netflix knows. I'm assuming it was a bomb for them to do that because they have they never do that shit. They always just delay what they could have waited till none of us cared, but in a month makes everyone go holy crap. They did sign this big deal with Mark Millar. To me it's Mark Millar. Everyone said Mark Millar, and suddenly all these other people are saying Mark Miller, but there's an AR, not an ER. I know I can't pronounce anything, but I'm pretty sure it's Mark Millar. Anyway, I'm sure Ryan's going to come on and I like that. No, Jim. Paw Patrol are the good cops. Just like the guy from Mary Poppins Returns was the good billionaire. Nice. But anyway, they signed a huge deal with Mark Millar to make this comic book superhero universe. I actually don't think the problem with this series is, other than the name superhero shows like WandaVision or Falcon Winter Soldier or The Boys. The Boys is sort of an exception. You kind of have to be a name, either be part of the Marvel DC thing or have a hook, which The Boys did. The Tick show, I don't understand how long that stuck around for, but that didn't really take off. I think it's actually really hard to launch a superhero thing that has virtually no nostalgia. I'm always wondering why Image Comic like Youngblood and Wildcats and like I know there's whatever's happening to Spawn, but I'm honestly surprised none of like no streaming services just signed a deal for Youngblood and everything like that. Um, discount. Does ACAB apply to mall cops? I see what you're doing there, discount, and no, Paul Blart is not part of that. Paul Blart is above pretty much everyone in terms of everything, so he does not count. Choose to discount. But I also think Jupiter's Legacy wasn't marketed as strongly, wasn't getting the fan support, which I think you really need for a show like that. And it does show a big weakness in Netflix, so they just let a $200 million production go. I'm curious if this is maybe a warning shot, like they are going to be swifter about getting rid of things. But that was a very costly maneuver. I know they're doing, Super Crooks, about supervillains, and that is still going forward, apparently, believe it or not. But I just don't know what's going to happen with this thing. I'm surprised they're still going forward with it, and apparently Jupiter's Legacy characters might be in further things, but we'll see about that. But it is a pretty remarkable canceling. I was pretty shocked by that, and I think a lot of people were, especially like number one in Nielsen for streaming. Like, I've never heard of a thing being number one. They're like, well, it's not profitable, so it's over. I didn't watch it, but it's like most people didn't like it, didn't give it good reviews. I think also you can't presume something's going to be a huge hit with multiple seasons and spend $200 million. Maybe it's a bad idea. Amazon, cough, cough. Austin says One and Wildcats are also when live action Ultra Force. True. I would say the same thing. Austin. Cheers to you. Okay. Also, the box office came back. A Quiet Place 2 made over $50 million last weekend, bringing people back into the box office. Mostly people who have been, I hope, vaccinated. But congrats to John Krasinski for actually getting people back, even though it has the 45-day thing. I'm probably not going to see Quiet Place 2 until it's on Paramount Plus. But I'm excited to see it. I know a lot of people I've seen more talk of people going back to the theaters. It seemed like more people, because a lot of people were saying they're going to wait till Fast 9, and I saw a lot of people going this past weekend. So it seems like the box office is back. Even Conjuring 3 is doing well, although the Conjuring stuff does very well. I'm a little confused on how many films are in the Conjuring universe. Is La Llorona in the Conjuring universe? It's like Annabelle and then The Nun, and I don't know what else. I need to actually figure that out before I shoot a review for that Conjuring 3. But it seems like horror's back. Fast 9, I think, made a lot overseas, but I'm curious what it's going to make here. I'd be curious what this summer is going to be like, because it's all over the place. Same with like Black Widow 2. Cruella did okay, but we'll see what happens there. And we found out A Quiet Place 3, which is directed by Jeff Nichols, who did Jeff Nichols, sorry, will be more of a spin-off, so I'm assuming not with Emily Blunt's character. But I'm excited for his version of that. I think that's a cool director to get for A Quiet Place, because he's someone who can do different things with that. I think didn't someone ask me something? I think I blanked on it. Sorry if I missed that. Ask me at the end, or do a super chat, I guess. But whatever it was, I'm not sure. I think Jeff Nichols, that's actually a good place to go, because he's a great director. Between Loving and Midnight, he did Mud, Loving, Take Shelter, and the Midnight Special. He's done some interesting stuff, and I think his style would work really well, so I think it's a good call. And him doing something different, I think, would be cool as well. Okay, so the other big news is Jonathan Majors, who we've seen in who he's seen, was he in? No, I'm thinking of someone else. Who is in Lovecraft Country and was just he's going to be in Ant-Man 3, is also cast in Creed 3 as the main antagonist fighter person. The interesting thing about this is everyone seems to have a theory. Most of them, the first ones is that because this is Creed 3, it's going to be like Rocky 3 and he's going to play Clover Lang or Mr. T. I feel like nobody remembered the Clover Lang thing until like Ted 2, and then everyone just, when I was a kid, it was the Rocky movie with Mr. T, but whatever. But that he would play Mr. T's son, I don't think that. Oh, he was in The Five Bloods, wasn't he? No, was he? Did he just write The Five Bloods? Was he in The Five Bloods? Is he the son? Was he? Anyway, doesn't matter. We all seem to know who he is. But he is in Five Bloods. He's in Ant-Man. He's in The Harder They Fall. Okay, there we go. But there's all these theories about him. And I'll say this. I don't think he's playing Mr. or Clover Lang's son. Then there are people saying he could be basically... there's all these theories that are like he could be Adonis's father's other son, basically. So the idea would be that it's Apollo Creed, right? Okay, anyway, man, my brain not working well tonight. But that he could be his other son. And in a lot of the ways, everyone's idea is basically he would be either Clover Lang's son or a Clover Lang type. Like he will be the like a younger, angrier fighter who wants to take on Adonis, much like in Rocky 3, which Mr. T wanted to do with Rocky because Rocky was soft, and they would do the same thing. I'm kind of like, I don't like that, but here's my kind of take. Here's my idea on this, because we have the time, I guess, and I've been thinking about it actually, is I think, so Adonis is a privileged kid. I don't remember if he went to high school, but he's privileged enough to have like a big 9-to-5 corporate job. So either he went to college or I don't know. He has enough connections to be considered like someone who went to college. And so this guy, Jonathan Majors, is playing. What if there is a second guy who did this and he was also like this intelligent fighter, went to college, had a degree, and he was working his way off. And they have to do kind of almost like Adonis fights himself instead of, like, basically, I don't want this to be anything to do with Rocky. Because that was the thing. It was like, with Creed, I understand Creed 2 sort of had to be the way it was. But it's like, we need to free ourselves from the Rocky franchise. We need to do something different. I know everyone seems to want the robot. The robot can come back, fine. But I'm just saying, like, realistically, I would like him to be another very intelligent guy who became... Are they getting the son of the robot too? I think it would be cool. Everyone's just talking about the robot from Rocky 4. This is Rocky 3, not Rocky 4. We're talking about Creed 3. Blah. But I think it would be a cool idea of having someone who, like, having a different kind of antagonist for Rocky, or the Rocky kind of Creed franchise, is having someone who is from almost this, like, he's fighting himself, and he could be more of, like, instead of, like, how he is a certain kind of fighter, he could be a different kind of fighter from a similar kind of background. I think that'd be cool. But Jonathan Majors, I'm the son. Adonis. No, I'm the son. The robot. I'm the son. I like this idea that everyone is the son of Apollo Creed in these Creed movies. Because they keep saying, like, didn't he have other kids? And then people are like, well, you always saw Apollo Creed with a lot of women. And, I'm like, fine. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think you could do something. I think you could, there is room to do things that are not things we've already seen done in both Creed films and Rocky films that I think would be interesting. I do not think I would like to see another, just retread of a Rocky film. Creed 2, like, had to happen the way it did. You knew they had to do a Rocky 4 thing. So it's like, it's fine. I was kind of like, you have to do this and we just have to put up with it. The Batman thing, just a quick image that we got from Andy Muschietti, who's shooting the Flash of the original Batman suit from Michael Keaton with like it looked like jelly on it. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but I really got to say, like, and I saw someone tweet about this. It's like, it's pretty crazy that the first image we get from the Flash movie is a Batman logo, which is true. And like, I do feel like I sort of think, and the one thing that's been kind of a hovering shadow over all movie news, and I think most of the movie press wanted to drop this week, is the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, because that film comes out in December, and you think they'd want to have a big trailer ready. I'm assuming they're probably going to do it before. I'd assume it happened before Fast 9. I think this next week or something. And I think DC wanted to get in front of it and be like, oh, hey, but we're going to have all these Batmans before you have all these Spider-Mans. Because I think as soon as that trailer drops, it's sucking the air out of whatever day movie news-wise is going on. Like, it's just over after that. So yeah. I just think that's what it is. It was kind of like, oh, cool, that thing we knew that was happening was happening. So Alex Hirsch did a Twitter thread making fun of Disney's official Twitter. It says there's room for everyone under the rainbow, and has Mickey, Goofy, Minnie, Donald, and Donald's girlfriend. What's her name? Daisy. Sorry. I'm sure people in the chat are going to say something. But when they said that, Alex Hirsch, Disney privately cut the gay scene. We might lose precious pennies from Russia and China. Disney publicly, Hong Kong, we put rainbow bumper sticker on Lightning McQueen today. Consume our product. Then Alex Hirsch, to any creative at Disney, feature, publishing, or streaming, please mercilessly spam your execs, with there's room for everyone under the rainbow next time you tell them. They tell you to please revise your LGBTQ plus character for not being Disney appropriate. So it sounds like he's not gonna work there no more. That's what I'm getting from this. It sounds like he's not gonna work there any longer with Disney. After that, I mean, I'm glad he's saying it, because it's something that like we've heard, we've kind of known. I don't think Disney is what they like to pretend they are in terms of progressiveness. They're really just not. It's just not something that's true for them, and I'm glad he called them out on it, because, you know, this whole idea of like, even the character in Cruella who's supposed to be gay or non-binary or like whatever, it's just like, it's never even mentioned. It's like always a supporting character or something. It's like, guys, can we just like, what? I understand Luca is just a little kid's remake of, you know, Call Me By Your Name, but like, still, like, you're just not doing right by us. I think they need to think about, they need to like actually do something. And I think it's good that he's saying something, because they're a company that tries to act like they're progressive when in fact they've always been insanely conservative. And it's just disappointing, because again, they have a huge platform. They could be doing a lot more with it, and they choose to do this weak ass shit. And but I also saw other creators chiming in about Cartoon Network, other places like that. It does seem to think that like none of them want to lose any money or have any controversy, but I just find it disappointing that none of them really are very risky at all creatively. So whatever, but good for Alex Hirsch for saying something. We have 3. This is like a mini trailers and stuff. This is a trailer for the Patrick Star Show. It actually looked kind of fun. It looked better than Camp Coral. I'm going to say it right now. But that looked fine. Zane Power says, but Disney gave us the gay Cyclops in Onward. Yes. How many lines does that gay Cyclops have? Cheers to you, Zane Powers. Like, could that Cyclops even pass the Bechdel test? I think it does, actually. Shit. Well, anyway, it just doesn't have a lot of lines. Like, not a lot of lines there. All right. As well as the America, the motion picture trailer, which looked fine. I find it like, I don't really know if nowadays, like, doing a America story like that in that way is the best idea. You know, I don't know if I need to see a bunch of slave owners like shoot and go pew, pew, and be like, fuck yeah, I'm free in America. Like, do I need that right now? It makes me a little uncomfortable. To be honest, it looks fun in a very clueless way. And then we have the iCarly trailer. This actually looked fun. I want to give credit to this trailer because as much as I sort of doubted the Lizzie McGuire thing, because it felt like it kind of wasn't really getting what Lizzie McGuire was, even though like that's their artistic. That's if they felt like they need to do that, that's fine. I never read a script, but this felt to me like iCarly, but aged up in a great way. It looked like a lot of fun. I wasn't the biggest iCarly fan, but it would be fun. It'll be fun to watch it. Oh, Discount Viscount, another super chat. Thank you for your generosity tonight, Discount Viscount. Don't forget LeFou in live action Beauty and the Beast. Gaston's toady, whose name means the fool. That's. I forgot about that. Amazing. Wasn't it like a really quick scene too? Jeez. Cheers to you, Discount Viscount. And we've killed a Red Bull. Congrats, everyone. Where were we? And then the Discovery Warner name and logo came out. It looks like something that Adult Swim would use to advertise Tim and Eric. I'm not sure if that was the intention or whatever the fuck that was. It just looks really stupid. I'm curious about Warner Discovery. I mean, they're not going to use that logo a lot, in all fairness. It's not going to be before movies. I can see it being at the end of certain shows and stuff like that. But most likely, we're not going to see it a lot. But it is kind of bad. It was pretty horrible. I'm hoping they don't make it HBO Max Discovery or something like that. Although HBO Max, let's be clear, is a terrible name anyways. So could you get worse? But it looked pretty awful. So, but we'll see what their plans are, how that's going to go. But it doesn't set things off on the greatest thing. It just looks like a really... Oh, it's a temporary logo, I think. Really? They did not get ahead of that. Let me just say that. So the Seth Rogen animated Ninja Turtles they wrote is going to come out on August 11th, 2023. I think we had heard about this before. He showed like, oh, hey, we're doing it, and here's a release date and stuff. To me, it's like, are you going to do better than Rise? Like, why would I be excited for this? To me, it's like, are the people who did Rise doing something? Is he aware of Rise? Is he just like, I like Ninja Turtles? I remember that show and those two movies. Like, with that, to me, it's like, okay, he's doing it. But my thing with it is also Ninja Turtles is a much more of a franchise than like I feel. I don't think Seth Rogen's the smartest writer in the world. I know he likes to pretend he is. And I just feel like there is more to Ninja Turtles that are offer than he might necessarily know about. And it makes me nervous. But we'll see what happens there. But I hope, to me, it's like, please make it like Rise. You know, I don't know if I really want the creative team behind the Green Hornet making a Ninja Turtles movie, but sure, whatever, man. It's not the team that I would be most excited about. Like, it was like, you know, it was like the Russo brothers or Edgar Wright or like a writer who was better at writing than he was in interviews or something like that. You know, that'd be fine. I just don't. Like, let's be real. Like, he made Superbad, and then a bunch of movies I saw because I like Superbad that I don't remember. I just don't. I don't know. He just not. Whatever. You know. I understand he's a good producer, but he's like Apatow, where it's like, you're a good producer. Since Jim has mentioned Green Hornet Zero. Do I mention Green Hornet a lot? I don't think I do. I saw a Captain Midnight thing on the Green Hornet thing. So, Michelle Gondry shouldn't do Ninja Turtles. Well, that I'm okay with, actually. That I'm okay with. Oddly, even though I just said a thing that could be. The Green Hornet was a year ago. He's moved on from that. Yes, but has anything been that great since Green Hornet? Nathaniel Foga. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just feel like I'm very negative now. You'll wake the neighbors. Haha. I feel like everyone's like, Grumpy Jim's mad at things. All right. So we got 20 minutes added to the Super Mario Brothers movies. Oh, hold on. I got mixed up and thought you meant Seth MacFarlane. Ooh, that would be worse. That would be worse. Refuse to use name powers. See, no, Austin, Butch Hartman could never do Ninja Turtles. Because if he did, I would have already done it first. Because I'm always one step ahead of Butch. I'll make Butch into... You know what? I'm going to stop myself before I have beef with the creator of Danny Phantom. All right, so 20 minutes of the Super Mario Brothers movie was added. What's the deal with this fully? So I was aware that they were trying to get better footage of this. A lot of these scenes have been online on a YouTube account that was like the Super Mario Brothers archive, where you can watch a lot of these extended scenes. I recommend that channel. They actually responded to my tweet about MovieCraft tonight. So they've been doing this for a long time. I think some of the scenes are fine. I don't look. I have supported the Super Mario Brothers movie. I saw it in theaters. I like literally. Sorry. There. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I heard about the Attack of the Clones thing, IMAX thing. Actually, in Blast Points. That's a good podcast. But I don't think any of those scenes make them better. There's one scene with the transformation with slime that's like, yeah, I'm with you on that part. There was a rapping part with the two cohorts, which is like goofy, but I think should have been cut. To me, it's like there was no saving this. There's no cut that you're going to be like, you know, it's a great movie now. Cinema's different. Like, it's just not. I appreciate everyone who did that. But anyway, sorry. What I was saying is, I did see it in theaters. I think, rented it a few times for sleepovers throughout the 90s. I have supported this film actually quite a bit. At the time where it would have maybe meant a little bit more. I just don't really like this movie that much. I don't think it's like a good movie. I know people really love it. That's fine. I think there's a certain nostalgia because of the kids and stuff. I do think like the Blade Runner thing's sort of weird, but like it's not something I really enjoy. It was cool seeing these new scenes. If you worked really hard to do that and you got this extended cut, it seems like there's been this movement to get this done that wasn't getting a lot of press attention, and suddenly it did. So congrats to you, because like I've said, it is hard to suddenly get the press to care about your fan campaign, and you did, and you deserve that credit. And regardless of my feelings on the film, I made a review of it. You can watch it. It's on the YouTubes. It's a cool site. You should check it out. But I do actually think that was pretty cool. It to me, like, I've watched all the scenes. I've seen the movie quite a few times. They put it on the Internet Archive. I think they did. I think, you know, good for them. It seems like a hard thing to do, but definitely good for them. Check out that YouTube channel, because I think they actually deserve some credit for getting those. I think they're the first ones to get a lot of those scenes out. If you don't want to just rewatch the whole movie, if you just want to find the scenes, they have, I think, a lot of them. And I know like certain scenes were extended in the cut. I think there's more stuff in the cut, but if you just want to see the new scenes, I recommend that YouTube channel. But it doesn't, to me, change that much. Other than the one scene, most of the other things I saw didn't really change my opinion on it. It was kind of like, and I thought some of them were just like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. But good for this movie. I mean, Super Mario Brothers still being relevant, but it would have been funny if we saw one of it and we were like, oh, that changes this whole thing. Like, I don't know about that, but we'll see. Oh, the Super Mario webcomic. That's right. I've heard about that. That's true. Check that out as well. All right. Hello, Mail Tears. How is it going? All right. So, 2 Spider-Man movie news. Apparently, an executive says there's a plan for Spider-Man. Good for him. I'd like to actually fucking see it. And then, Issa Rae has been cast as... Oh, thank you, Izzy. Is Izzy here, or are we just saying thank you in general? I didn't see Izzy here. Anyway, thank you, Izzy, in general. Izzy's great. Thank you, Izzy. How you doing up there? You good? All right. Where were we? Yeah, the Issa Rae being cast as Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman in Into the Spider-Verse. That sounds great. I really like her. I watched most of Insecure, and then I like fell off at like maybe season 3 or 4. I forget. But I do actually like her. I think she's a really talented comedian. comedian, whatever, writer. I think she'll be really cool. I'm curious what this is going to be. I'm also curious, are they going to do the 2D animated film of Spider-Woman, the cartoon show that's on Disney Plus? I hope they do it like in that design. I think that would be cool. I'm assuming she won't be white, so maybe not that. But I'm excited for that. I think it'll be cool. I think it's good casting. I'm curious what's gonna happen with Spider-Verse. And then before we get into trailers and stuff, there's this writer. So I want to talk about this Bond thing because there's a lot of buzz about it, but it's really not much. So a writer of Skyfall said like Bond isn't content. It's like Bond's the cinema, the stories, all this stuff. Here's the thing, Bond, everything is content. It's fine. I know people don't like that modern term because it sounds like gross and stuff, but Bond is a huge content, and it's very valuable. I think this idea that Amazon will have super control of it is probably not accurate by any means, but I also think it's like the Broccoli's haven't done an amazing job with it over the past 20 years. They've done a decent job with getting Daniel Craig, but then they take far too long to make things. They're not good at making deals with him or dealing with any of the Bonds in general. The last two like seem to like kind of want to be like done with the fucking thing. So I just think like this whole idea of like, oh, the Broccoli's doing this wonderful job. There's no way we could change it. If Sony had their way, there would have been an Idris Elba James Bond already. There could have been. To me, it's like, guys, just like, don't, like, nothing's gonna happen with James Bond. I'm sick of this like Amazon discussion. Nothing's happening with James Bond. The Broccoli's, the Wilsons, or whatever that family is, they're not giving control away. They make so much money. It's all about market share when you sign up for that franchise. It's not about money. And they're going to have to play ball with whatever they want. That guy going in his rant, all that is so John Campea could make some rant video. I didn't see his video about it, so maybe he didn't. But it's like, so people like that can go on about how Amazon's so awful or some crap like that. It really has like, it's really a headline that's just there to create discussion. But honestly, like Amazon doesn't get shit for James Bond. So it's not even worth like, we're still at the whim of the Broccoli's. It really doesn't matter. Okay. Sorry. So I just really wanted to say that. So trailers and stuff. I actually have some interesting ones that I don't think, when are we getting James Bond? I think it's in October, November, something like that. Trailers and stuff. So here are two trailers at the beginning that are kind of interesting. White Lotus, which is a HBO series. It's written and directed by Mike White, who wrote The Good Girl. He wrote and directed Mike Chuck and Buck. Like, he was a big 2000s guy, and he was in School of Rock. You don't hear much about him now. But it's basically about a resort and the people who work there and having to deal with people who want to be the center of the universe and stuff like that. I'd heard about it, and the trailer actually didn't disappoint. You're basically dealing with, like, these awfully awful rich white people and the staff who has to put up with them. I think it actually looks pretty cool. This other trailer, which I also want to recommend, is called Dinner in America. I have no clue when this comes out in this country. Like, I couldn't find it because it kept saying, well, it came out in Sundance in 2020. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Give me an actual release date. Like, that's not a release date. Don't act like that's a release date. Anyway, Dinner America, it looks like the new cool cult movie. It's basically about a girl who, like, this crazy girl who sends weird love letters, and this guy who's, like, on the run, and they, like, I don't even understand how they get together, but it looks like a cool cult indie movie, and I really want to see it. And it looks like the weird cult stuff that I used to be into. I've heard people compare it to Heathers, things like that. It looks really cool. If you're into that sort of thing, check out the trailer for Dinner in America. There's a Boss Baby 2 trailer. I don't understand, like, why they turn him into an adult and then he becomes a baby. Like, I don't get the whole thing with this franchise. Maybe I'll review it. I guess I have to. I don't like the Boss Baby thing. It's like, is he supposed to be Trump because Alec Baldwin's there, but now he's like, I guess he's not Trump because Trump, whatever. I don't understand that. There's a trailer for Geek Week. I think we're going to see next week. We are going to have a ton of stuff because of this Geek Week thing, because they're going to reveal pictures and like have interviews and have like this big press thing for Netflix and stuff, including Master Universe and various other shows. So I think Geek Week we will see a lot more of the stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, the Monica Bellucci thing, Jordan Salafala. I will say, what's so interesting is everyone wrote like, it's so crazy they have this older woman in a Bond movie as a Bond girl, and like so many guys I've talked to have all complained about Monica Bellucci. Like it seemed like nobody. Like I know they're male fantasies, but I never have ever read so many guys like defending an older woman and stuff because she's just so beautiful. Like everyone was like, "Why wasn't she in the movie more? I don't understand." Like put her in the movie. Like what the fuck's like? People just love her. Like it's just like it was really funny. They kept like covering her up as like this older woman. It was like, no, please don't do that. Like it's interesting. Sometimes it was like people kept writing like, well, you can't have her too much. She's older and stuff. I was like, really? Because culture doesn't actually mind. Like this is just y'all. Like this is interesting. She is gorgeous. The Cuphead show as well in Geek Week. I'm sorry for forgetting that, but we're going to get a lot of cool looks, trailers, and stuff this night. This next week's going to be better than this week, which is a bit of a blah. I'm going to try to wrap up the news part soon. We have an interesting 2 segments today, actually. Oh, we don't have that much. We should be fine. We the People, which although looks cool and the animation looks cool, I know the Obamas. And this is not, I'm not against the Obamas. It's not an abomination. Oh, hello. Here we go. I'll always remember that Boss Baby for having Ralph Bakshi's grandson in it. Cheers to you. You're right, Nathaniel Foga. Ralph Bakshi always wanted... When you think DreamWorks, you think Ralph Bakshi, don't you, Nathaniel Foga? We the People... Basically, I've been aware of this for a while, that the Obamas are sort of making stuff to show like the possibilities of government. They're very pro-government because like I don't know if you knew this, but Barack Obama was the president and stuff. So it was like a while ago. You just look it up. But they're being very pro-government. This, when I watched it, I understand there's things the government can do for people that people don't realize, and that is good to educate people. But it effectively looks like very well animated propaganda. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But I don't know if I'll watch it because there's like a certain point to which I don't want to watch that kind of stuff. But it did look really cool. It has a lot of cool songs from a lot of great performance. If they made propaganda, it sounds like they made wonderful propaganda. So, let's drink all that Kool-Aid together, I guess. Reminiscence looked interesting, like a comment on what's going on right now, but maybe not. With Hugh Jackman, it's going to HBO Max. A lot of people have said it looks like something that would go to HBO Max. I sort of agree to a certain extent. And then we got a trailer for Owl House Season 2. I did not really watch much of Season 1, but it did actually look like a cool trailer and look really cool. I put this in trailers and stuff because I don't have a ton to say about it other than it looks like this universe is growing, and that looks rather neat. He was a what? I like that. Okay. FX had a Twitter thread basically about FX networks, about things that are coming, why The Last Man will be coming Monday, September 13th. What We Do in the Shadows is coming back September 2nd, which is great. I really like that show. Archer, August 25th. Reservation Dogs, which is a true-to-life and incredibly funny story from Taika Waititi, August 9th. Reservation Dogs, and a BJ Novak anthology series, September 16th. Whatever the fuck that means. So that's cool. Other things we have. Mission Impossible 7 has been shut down because of COVID. I thought they finished filming. Like, what's going on? I'm so confused about that. I don't... My thing on this is, like, that happens. I'm sorry for Tom Cruise, I guess, because I know he tried. We did get some looks from the director of Shazam. Looks like they're shooting Shazam 2 soon. That's great. I like the first Shazam a lot. We also, there's the Saturday morning Minion shorts. I will say the 2D design of the Minions looks great. It apparently has been out in Japan, but it's just coming out now. Oh, good night, Super Dive Minion. But I actually like 2D Minions, so I wish they were when they make the Minions movie. Well, I forget when that new one's coming out, but I wish. I almost makes me wish Illumination was in 2D. It looks so much better. Yeah, we don't have too much stuff left. Quentin Tarantino has talked about ending his directorial career. Almost like it's to me one of the things about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It felt like the final film. I know he's talked about making another film. He's talked about that idea of like having a guy who comes back from World War II, and none of the Hollywood movies mean anything to him anymore. And I thought that was kind of an interesting idea as a final thing, as someone watching cinema in theaters and things like that. We'll see what happens with his final film or his 10th his 10th directorial effort, basically. We'll see what happens there. He seems to be very determined to have this perfect oh, thank you, Super Dive Minion. Perfect filmography. To me, it's like you're already Quentin Tarantino, so I don't know how you don't have a perfect filmography. You seem to have a pretty good one, but I think he also like has a kid. I can understand not wanting to do that, especially because his kid is very young at this point. We'll see. Maybe he changes his tune. He does take a long time to develop things, so I think it might be what we might see from him is he just wants to wait a while to get it perfect, and he did go through a major life change, so he does sort of take his time, but we'll see what goes on there. But the fact that he's still talking about it, I don't think I would mind if Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the last thing, but I sort of would like him to not do a revisionist history thing. Like you get to a point where it's like how many you made 3 in a row that felt a little much. Like if he does a final thing, I almost want him to do not the same period. I'd like a different Tarantino. I wouldn't mind like a Jackie Brown's thing at the end. So, but I don't think like the other projects like the Kill Bill coming back in a while or the Zorro Django thing, like I think those could be done at a different time by a different director. So I wanted to talk about the Alamo Drafthouse coming back from bankruptcy thing because it's basically like I don't really, pretty much how it's set up. Like the head of Alamo Drafthouse is sort of doing a they're saying like, oh, they ended bankruptcy, but if you actually read the article, it's basically like, well, they reorganized, and these people who bought them for a ton of money basically decided that we can open locations and things like that. It just feels like someone investing a lot of money into something and pretending like, oh, we were bankrupt for this little bit and that's why we did this buyout and stuff. But the CEO was part of the investment firm. There's been a lot of when you get into the finances of Alamo, there's always a lot of things you're like, how did you suddenly have all this investment money? Like, why is the CEO involved with the people who bought his own company? Like, there's a lot of questions I really have about that company in terms of things like that. Apparently, there's a theater in Manhattan they're going to do. I don't know. I'm a little surprised they didn't try to buy the ArcLight or something like that. But, or the Cinerama Dome. Like, I'm surprised. Some of their actions lately have been very questionable. And I'm not trying to, I like them as a theater chain, but I question a lot of what goes on there because there seems to be a lot of things that I'm like, what's going on? But they're out of bankruptcy. But the reason I kind of share it more in that way because I'm like, why are we presenting it this way? I have a lot of questions about that. There's going to be another Master and Commander film. It is going to be a kind of prequel to the original Master and Commander. It seems like Master and Commander would be a good, I think, thing for a streaming service if they did a show or something like that because there's so much love for it. I actually never watched that movie, and I know people really like that movie quite a bit, but I've actually never watched it, believe it or not. So, we'll see what's going to happen there. I don't have much to say about that. Two kind of in-canceling news, and a funnier one, and then I'll get serious, I guess, is the creator of How I Met Your Mother, Carter Bays, said that he wishes he could cut things out, certain things out when he rewatched How I Met Your Mother. My wife was watching recently, and I kind of agree when you watch her older episodes. you kind of just see certain things in it, and you're like, I think maybe we should have cut certain things from it. Certain things don't age very well. Although even in the last season, they did like a Yellowface episode. So as much as like you can go, oh well, season one was a different time. You're like, oh, but that last season you did a Yellowface episode and acted like you're talking about kung fu movies. And it's pretty sure you only knew Kill Bill. It's like, so I think that show gets away with a lot. If you're being honest, but at least he's like kind of trying to get in front of it. But like that Yellowface episode, like that was the last season. I remember it was embarrassing. So Donnie Yen is going to be in John Wick 4. Apparently he is not the villain, which is like okay, but I would like to see a fight between Donnie Yen and Keanu. Supposedly they're going to have more like big martial arts stars throughout these films as they continue. That's sort of the plan that's been rumored all throughout these that we keep hearing about. I think he is a good he would be really cool because you probably, if you don't know his other stuff, he was in Rogue One and also Triple X3, of course. So you know, whatever that little period in January, he was real big in theaters. But he, I think I think that's really cool. That's probably one of the best casting news. This is the first time with John Wick 4 I've been super excited. Wait, what? What is this? I just found out there was a Big Bang episode where Penny was framed as a villain for caring about sexual harassment. I don't know if that's true, Bruce Parker, or not, but I'm not gonna. I. I'm just gonna let that go. And sadly, we found out that Jared Bell from Drake and Josh, who was Drake, was arrested for basically like messaging an underage girl, which is really sad. I don't know. I did tweet like I always like Keaton Kelmore anyway, but which I think is sad because I don't know. I think I was like Drake and Josh. It was a cool show. I'm disappointed that that came out about him. I think that's sort of fucking lame. I don't know. And I think the last thing is that apparently there's a Cruella sequel in the works. We'd heard the director, Craig Gillespie, say that there was a sequel in the works. He talked about all the things you can do with the character of Cruella. If you've seen the movie, it basically seems like he could just set up, 101 Dalmatians. So I assume Cruella 2 is just 101 Dalmatians. I don't really see like what exactly he thinks he's going to do with this character. Seems a bit much for me. I don't really understand what his plan is there. Just seems, I don't know. I'm like, sure. They don't, I mean, I guess this is the plan, is to do it like Maleficent, and there was a sequel to Maleficent, so I don't think it's actually beyond, is that crazy? I know they talk about a lot of sequels for these things, and often they don't happen, although I think the Lion King Barry Jenkins thing sounds like it could happen unless he gets Superman, in which case I think it's probably dead in the water. But if he doesn't get Superman, or doesn't want Superman, then I think Lion King 2 would happen. But yeah, I think that's probably what they're going to do with Cruella. I'd assume because it is in a similar framework, and that's usually how Disney works. But we'll see. But I just don't think like would it just be 101 Dalmatians from her perspective, because I think that would be rather lame, to be honest with you. So, okay. So before we get into the two segments, which is a wild tonal shift of two episodes, which would be favorite fart in a movie from the Kids' Choice Awards, and then the Neighbours, the famous animated short, which is quite a disparity between the two. I don't know what I was thinking there, but I do want to do an Obits segment. Phil Young, who's a longtime Disney animator, passed away this past week. He was 79. He got to study with a lot of the Nine Old Men. He worked on The Great Mouse Detective, Oliver and Company, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, Beauty and the Beast, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Emperor's New Groove, even Home on the Range. He did a lot, which was his last project for Disney. He even worked on Looney Tunes Back in Action, so R.I.P. to him, and sad to have lost him. All right, so I'm going to show some fan art. This is from Ace the Wind Rider. Speaking of, is that it? Speaking of John Wick, he drew me as John Wick, and that's pretty cool. I will be right back after a quick break, and then we'll do the two segments, which is the Kids' Choice Award, favorite fart in a movie, and then the thing on Neighbours, because I'm a crazy person for some reason. So I will be right back right after this, and I will see you very shortly. Here we go. Good job, Ace the Wind Rider, by the way. Very good job. I think it looks really cool. But yeah. Alright, I will be right back. Hello, everyone. Sorry that took a little bit. How's it going? All right, let me take this off. Hello, everyone. Sorry. Oh, turn the mute. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. Sorry about the wait there. Okay. Let's do Neighbours first, actually. Let me get wait, where hold on 1 second. I'm sorry about that, everyone. Neighbours. Oh, speaking of Seth Rogen, you know what comes up first when you do that? You really have to put in the ear for that one. Okay. So Neighbours. So Neighbours is, yeah, let's do Neighbours first. I think the farts, let's be serious first. I think it's harder to go funny, serious, and then funny again is a weird tone. So Neighbours is a 1952 short film. It is a stop motion film, but it's not like a normal stop motion film because it is done with real people. Basically, it's done with directed by Norman McLaren. I think that's how you say his name, who is a Scottish Canadian animator. And this was made by the National Board, National Board of Canada. It is what basically the plot of this film. It is a very anti-war film. Basically, it is about two men who are played by Jean-Paul Laussière, I believe, and Grant Monroe, who I believe, by the way, what was I going with that? Yes, Grant Monroe. Their names will be below when this is a different video. They peacefully live adjacent to one another. You see two cardboard houses in the background. You see them sitting, talking to one another, and then hang out. And then a flower comes up, and they start fighting over the flower and start building a fence over who should have the flower, which they enjoy together a little bit, but barely. And then they basically destroy each other over the love for this flower and the flower itself, and even knock down their houses and kill their wives and babies as well. And the film is to show you what war and conflict and selfishness and nationalism and all that stuff would do to destroy us all. Now, Neighbours is kind of part of a tradition in animation, specifically, actually, much like Peace on Earth, which is another great animated short, which was made before World War II. And this also film reminds me of Trinka's The Hand, which was made actually 10 years after this. Basically showing the idea by people who have seen war. The people who made Peace on Earth had seen World War One. This is obviously, I think post World War II, there was a real fear that conflict could destroy all of us. And the idea of that it could just rip us all apart because we would fight over something that we could possibly share together. And I think, this is the director of this, Norman McLaren, to my understanding, what I could find, did not go to World War II. But there's probably almost no way you could live in the world that is the Earth and not feel the ramifications of that. Now, this wasn't a direct reaction to World War II. I am going to say that right now. His quote on it was, "I was inspired to make Neighbours by a stay of almost a year in the People's Republic of China. Although I only saw the beginnings of Mao's revolution, my faith in human nature was reinvigorated by it. Then I came back to Quebec and the Korean War had began. I decided to make a really strong film about the anti-militarization and against war." Which, I think, like, when you're seeing what was going on with World War II, how war had ripped people apart, and you look at this film, it's that kind of the idea. And you see this a lot in post-World War II, post-World War I, the idea that they believe that war would kill us all. And I think this is going on very much throughout, Peace on Earth and this, but both have this universal idea going throughout it about conflict. There's nothing about Neighbours that isn't true today. The whole idea of like nationalism, which I've always thought is like taking credit for something that you most likely have nothing to do with, because it's very silly to like have super patriotic feelings. I've always found to be a little ridiculous, because basically it's like, who cares if you're the best country? Like, what is that even doing? It's actually very toxic and poisonous to pump up your chest and like, show how much better you are than someone else, just for the purpose of having like the most things, or having that flair, or having that wonderful thing, and the evil that you can do within that. Now, it goes to a logical extreme, but that's sort of the point. Now, this film, I think, is almost like, this film looks like 80s to me. Because not only is the animation like what you'd see in like a Devo music video or music videos from MTV era, which obviously this film referenced, but it has this weird synth kind of thing, which I almost find kind of off-putting, because I've seen this film a bunch of times, and I'll get to that in a second. But he basically scratched the film to make that sound. He used various like blops and lines and things with the projector to read as sound. So it's not a synthesizer, but it sounds very 80s in a lot of ways. How he created that sound is kind of crazy. I actually didn't know that before looking this up, and I went like, oh, this is cool, actually. This is really cool how he did that. But I used to project this a lot. I used to project out of school and in an animation history class, and they play this like every year. So I've seen this a lot of times. I actually saw it at an airport in Montreal, because they had like, I think with the, one of the things where you could scan it and watch the film in the airport. I might still have footage of that from Montreal, my first trip to Montreal. If I do, I'll put it in this film. I might, in this video. I might not. Some of it might be in my first Montreal trip video. Again, I do not remember. I remember I shot it, but we'll see. And this film went on to win an Oscar. Anyway, sorry. I have always really liked this film. I always thought it was really interesting. I always thought it was kind of more part of its era, but I also like kind of the idea of just a simple like two neighbors together, and how they could just coexist, but they refused to, the dark idea of the whole thing. But this film did win an Oscar, but it didn't win the version that you can watch. If you watch the one on YouTube of the National Board of Canada, or at least when I made this video, that version is has a section where it knocks down the houses and suddenly you reveal their wife and a child, and they kill, each of them have a wife and child, and each of the opposing ones kill the other's wife and child. That was not in the one that won the Oscar, actually. That was cut for America because they thought that was too extreme. And then when they re-released this, because this was like a while before the Vietnam War, they put that back in, actually. I swear to you, I've seen a cut without that, but I projected so many times I might be sort of like dumbfounded by my brain at that point. So I might have just forgotten it. I don't know if any of those cuts exist to this point, so I might be wrong about that. Obviously, a cut did show and won an Oscar. It's unfortunate because I think that's sort of part of the extreme of it. It doesn't play as funny, which I think it could. I think when cartoons do that, it could, but it really doesn't. It shows the brutality of man. It shows the disturbing nature of it. I think this is an essential animated film that you should watch. This director, who I think saw the ugliness of humanity as a closeted gay man at the time, probably saw how man could rip themselves apart and the ugliness of all of that. And I think that shows like the beautifulness of this, and as well as other films that do it. But I think Neighbours is a great example of it because it breaks it down so simply. Like, when you fight with your neighbor, who really wins? And I think so many people get so upset and so angry at such little things, they're not thinking of what we're really doing to one another. And I think this film shows how two people could kill themselves over a flower. And I'm sure the cavemen did it. I'm sure other people would do it. But it's just one of the great statements of any animated film. And sure, it's not... The thing about animation, which I sort of don't like, and I know this is like very little to do with this film, but it sort of is actually, is we are very conservative in terms of what kinds of animation we consider discussing and watching and get funding and all this stuff. This is not the kind of animation that's like that. And I'm not going to do the typical thing when it's not a Disney thing. This is not like Disney, like whatever. Basically, like, this was a different way to do it. I can't imagine doing stop motion with real actual people, like how long it took to shot, how the lighting looks perfect. It's an amazing achievement when you think about all that. And I think what's powerful about it is not only how it was made and the techniques behind it and the uniqueness to the animation, but as well as the real message it has within it, which says a really dark, true thing about humanity, which sadly is probably even more true today than it was at the time that it was released. Yeah, I think I did good there. Okay, thank you. That was a big Austin. Man, my ear is itchy all of a sudden. And then I smelled it right in front of me, and that was gross. I'm sorry. All right. This next one was also suggested by someone on Twitter, and I have the picture of it here. Hold on. Where are you? This was suggested by this will be in the picture of the thing. So this one was actually this next segment is Norman would later go on to teach animation from Austin. Oh, that's cool. I think I read that, but thank you for saying that. Cheers to you. Thank you very much. And thank you for suggesting this, Austin. That was cool. I'm glad you did that. Oh, great review. Oh, I feel so good now, guys. So anyway, after I moved your soul, let's talk about farts. I can't believe we're doing this. So, farts and award shows are a long history, I think. A long, beautiful history. Before the Kids' Choice Awards made this category, obviously Howard Stern's Fart Man was probably the greatest achievement that farts have ever achieved at the MTV Video Music Awards. I believe it was the 1992 one, but don't hold me to that. However, the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards outgassed them all, I guess, with having favorite fart in a movie, which is a real category. This was suggested by Mike Plequino, I believe, who said, "Can you please do a history of the best fart award at the Kids' Choice Awards?" And here we are. Because I was fascinated that this is a real thing when he tweeted this to me. I do listen to you guys, if you hadn't noticed. Like, you guys do have good suggestions. And this was an interesting one. So, this happened for 2 years, in 2003 and 2004. So there were only 2 winners of the favorite fart. And then Nickelodeon decided not to do it anymore. Maybe because they couldn't handle the stink in the kitchen. I don't know. But, did you super chat? Maybe you super chatted me. Anyway, ToonJ723 can get credit too. But, basically, the first one went to Scooby-Doo over such nominees as Master of Disguise, Austin Powers and Goldmember, and the Crocodile Hunter Collision Course, which you would think Crocodile Hunter, I don't know what all these farts were. But Scooby-Doo won. There's no surviving footage of Matthew Lillard winning. I'm assuming when Matthew Lillard won, he did his famous speech where he said, "This world is bullshit, and you know it," and then went on about Bush or something. I don't know. Nobody can see it now. But after that, so they won't release that ever. But the 2004 footage we do have. And the nominees were, and Tunjay, I'm saving your super chat for, oh man, we went down to the serious one all of a sudden. The 2004 nominees were Kangaroo Jack, Good Boy, which I don't even know what that is, Daddy Daycare, and Finding Nemo. Tunjay723 said, Finding Nemo was robbed. Thank you for the super chat, Tunjay723. Like, Kangaroo Jack won. Now, this category, very topical. Joe Rogan presented. Yes, Joe Rogan was famous before. He was a horrible guy with a podcast. He was a horrible guy on Fear Factor. So much has changed. But he gave out the award. And then, like, when he gives it out, like, a thing falls down. Like, I watched the Kids' Choice Awards when Macaulay Culkin won one. And it went to, like, I don't know, Ninja Turtles. Like, I was not watching kids. I was doing other things when this was on, trust me. But Kangaroo Jack 1, he comes out on the camel because they make a joke like, oh, these camels' farts are terrible. And he goes, it was me, haha. And he comes out, he's kind of funny on the camel. I will give him credit for coming out on a camel. That's scary to come out on a camel on stage. Anthony Edwards deserves some respect. This was like way before Blackish and all that stuff. What I like about this is the Kids' Choice Awards didn't take themselves too seriously enough to make this happen, which I think was amazing of them to do this. I think it shows a real sense of humor and is a real gas of a joke, to be honest with you. I wish they kept it up. I guess fart humor in kids' films was, like, seriously though, was at its height in the 2000s era. I don't know if you could get away with that. I don't think fart jokes in kids' movies have gone away. I'm sure you could probably come up with 4 nominees, even from COVID year, from kids' movies, to be honest. I think you could still do it. But it is hilarious that this was a kind of quick awards category at the Kids' Choice Awards, because they had things like favorite movie, favorite actor, all that kind of crap, and then they had favorite fart in a movie. Not best fart, because they didn't want to deal with the critics and all that stuff. But I just love that the Kids' Choice Awards did this. I think it's really funny. I think it's kind of hilarious to look back on, because I noticed like there's Reddit threads of people like, does everyone remember like they did a favorite fart in a movie category at the Kids' Choice Awards in 2003, 2004? It was instantly hilarious. So it adding much discussion and so forth. But man, I just think, they definitely stank up the room with that one. But it was a beautiful stank that I think got on all of us. All right. They used to have best butt kicker. Whatever. Okay, let's do Patreon questions because it is rather late. But I think we'll probably go to 12:45, maybe a little later, but we'll see. I do feel a little awake. I might take a little swig of Red Bull. We have 4 questions, 3 of which by Nathaniel Foga, who officially has the most Patreon questions. Oh, hold on. The GOAT of movie fart jokes, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Sinram. I'm going to release my review of that next week, and I will tell you that is a really good fart joke. Cheers to you. Are we talking about the Ninja Girls? Because that was, I will say that joke works really well. Like, they build to that excellently. That's a very good, if that's what we're talking about. If that's what we're going to talk about. Cheers to you, Sinram. It's also like, how did they get Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz to host the Kids' Choice Awards? Like, that's like, what the fuck was the early 2000s? Like, anyway, Jordan Bouchard asks, before we get to the onslaught of Nathaniel Foga, says, my questions always have a few parts to them. My bad, but what's your favorite Kevin Smith film? And are you hopeful for his possible sequels? Also, have or would you ever see him at a live show of any kind? My favorite is actually probably Clerks now. I think Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob and all those things I've liked to a certain degree. I'd say Jay and Silent Bob, Dogma, and Clerks are kind of my 3 favorites. I'm not really excited for the sequels. I don't think a Dogma sequel sort of interests me. I wanted to see Reboot, so I did, but other than that, I don't have much faith. And I did see him live, and he actually signed my comic to the Reverend Jim Gisriel, and he was really nice. And that's how I saw early footage. That's how I saw the Flintstone list originally, because it didn't air on TV. I didn't see it on TV. Okay, so the 3 Nathaniel Fogas. Where were all those great Oaxis shows you talked about from that totally legit video from 2032? Well, there's still a lot of time before 2032, so it could still happen. What's the one thing Cruella 2 has to do to make you enjoy it? Not exist. That I would enjoy it thoroughly if it didn't exist. Is it, or really go off the reservation and do like my dumb Sex Pistols bit maybe? Is it coincidental in the slightest that they play Smile from the first Joker trailer in Cruella? I don't think it is. I don't think it is a coincidence. I think that is very much on purpose, because they are that basic. All right, where's the cheese? I'll answer Ryan's first. It's in the fridge. Where do you think it is? Sorry. All right. Where's the first question? Okay, Emblood T. Did the devil really make him do it? I haven't gotten to that part in Conjuring 3, but I believe so. Bruce Parker, how badly did Danny Phantom rip off Cletus the Fetus? I've considered lawsuits. I think if you watch Cletus the Fetus episode 32. It's fairly clear. I don't remember which one that was. Don't look it up. Probably. Cornbread. Fun fact: as of a few days ago, the 2nd of June, it has officially been half of a year of Wolfman. I gotta ask, Big Cat, how does it feel to reach this milestone to have Wolfman in your life this long? Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you, Cornbread. Austin. Is The Devil Inside part of the Conjuring universe? Why not? Even though I think it came out before any of them. Best cinematography ever from Embla T. I mean, I guess everyone says what's that one? The French one? The Conformist? I would say Days of Heaven, Citizen Kane, something by Gordon Willis. Just Gordon Willis himself. Justin Bouchard, have you started Invincible yet? I know you haven't, but this is your reminder it exists. Basically, yes. Oh, you're right. Not plausible. That whiplash from serious to farts was so strong I hurt my neck. I'm so gonna sue you for damages. Sorry. This is a lot. I want to put them both out this week. It's just such a bizarre. I want people to be like, what is this channel? Do you think Ralph Bakshi's grandson being in Boss Baby have any influence on the film? I do not. Maybe they don't even. Didn't they have a weird sequence in it? Maybe that one, but I don't know. Ace the winner. If you could host any award show, what would it be? The Cable Ace Awards, of course. Cornbread. Since the Conjuring universe is relevant this week, I must ask, do you think there should be a crossover film with Annabelle and the Boy? Is this the next step in horror films about evil dolls? I wouldn't mind that, but I don't know. I didn't see the Annabelle films, actually. I've only seen the Conjuring ones, and I've never seen the Boy. I heard it was kind of bad, so I could see that happening, though, in a way that I haven't seen anything. TuneJ723, which is better, the Phantom Edit, the IMAX cut of Attack of Clones, or Star Wars the Third Gaither's Backstroke of the West? I don't. The Phantom Edit does sound good. There's this podcast I listen to sometimes, not everyone, called Blast Points, and they went over the whole deal with the Attack of the Clones. They were saying it was really exciting, but they were laughing at the things they cut, like, oh, the fans of some of these like minor characters are going to get upset, which that was funny. Blast Points is like Star Wars fans who just love Star Wars. It's just wonderful. Like, it's what the Star Wars fandom I wish was. When I was a kid, it was that. Sinram, favorite track from New Adventures in Hi-Fi? Mine is Be Mine. Bittersweet Me, Sinram, has been a big one for me. And I think as the video, which I want to rewatch, and I think there's a girl with a typewriter or something. It always really stuck with me, to be honest with you. Like, I think I had it recorded and it wasn't a hit, but Bittersweet Me is like always stuck with me. Like, and I don't think it's even my favorite song, but like I remember in the 90s, I would think about that video and I would think about that song a lot. It's a weird thing I have with that. I don't know. But I need to, me and Adventures in Hi-Fi, you'd think we would have been better friends, but it just like didn't click, and I don't know why that didn't happen. Your personal favorite fart scene? Mine is the Nutty Professor. Mine, I think, is when they fart in polyester and then you have to scratch and sniff. Not plausible. You giving Paw Patrol credit is so far to me. I'm expecting you to say something ridiculous like Monster Trucks wasn't the best movie ever. I didn't say it was, but have you considered Discount Viscount? Have you considered streaming on Twitch? The only reason really I don't is because I kind of just like everything going on YouTube. I don't really watch Twitch. It would mean learning a whole other thing. I don't want to invest that time in it because I already have so many things I do in general anyway. So I've considered it in the way that like a lot of people do, but I just kind of like it on here right now. So it is something. It's just like another thing. Maybe if I had like, you know, if my channel was super successful and like this was a huge stream and we could have like a second go on both maybe or something. But as of right now, I don't see that happening. But anyway, the long answer is, have I thought about it? Yes, and I have things to say about how I thought about it. Cornbread. So with me previously working as a mime for street performer, I must ask, what's your favorite fictional mime? I didn't know this. Can we go back to that? Like, what the... seriously? My favorite mime is Bon Voyage in The Incredibles a mime? And if so, yes, him. Austin, do you remember Bismarcky was a giant snail in Adventure Time? I do remember that. I love Bismarcky in general. So, should Sesame Street do another movie, Nathaniel Foga? I do have mixed feelings about that, to be honest with you. Although I do love Follow That Bird. I don't love the Elmo one. I think they could do it again. I don't know what happened to that. Are they still doing that? I know Bo Burnham was gonna do the music. I'm not sure what happened with that, but we'll see. What did you actually make? Wait, did you actually make Cletus the Fetus? Well, sorry. From Dark Lord of Cats. Wait, did you actually make Cletus the Fetus? I thought it was a joke. No, there it is, an actual cartoon. It's all on YouTube. Check it out. I need to wear that shirt on one of the streams. I need to do that soon. Not plausible. Are you prepared to go toe-to-toe with Butch Hartman on Twitter? He allegedly created your child. I mean, he didn't actually, because I was like too old by the time he created stuff, but whatever. How did Butch Hartman tough puppy rip off Knock Force? I mean, I think everyone can tell he totally ripped off that Marriage Magazine bit. Nathaniel Foga, do you think a third Kingsman film would be any good? I think you could do a good job. I mean, the third one, whenever that's coming out, I think that could be interesting. I'm curious what they're going to do with it after that. To be honest with you, hold on. Where'd we go? Was that Nathaniel Foga? Okay. Cornbread, have you considered setting up Streamlabs for these streams? Streamlabs, unlike YouTube, with Super Chats, you don't take a pay cut with donations. Well, you're still running through YouTube, so I don't think that would change that, actually. Unless, I guess you mean a separate thing, not their streaming platform. Possibly. We'll see. That's a good question, though. Bruce Parker, in the timeline where Kurt Cobain was still with us, the best one, how likely would it be for Nick to have tried to make a KCA host? Make him a KCA. Kids' Choice Awards. Oh my God. I'm sure that totally would have happened. Question, do you think the Paw Patrol movie is the Isle of Dog for kids? Oh my God. Yeah, actually, you know what? Not a bad theory, Sunspot Mill. Frank Clark, should I watch Boogie Nights or MXP Most Extreme Primate on HBO Max? Do Boogie Nights. Why not? Why did Butch Parker went on such a downward spiral? Nathaniel Foga, hubris. Austin, thoughts on the MF Doom album? I haven't listened to it in a little bit, but I listened to it when he died and it was good. I liked it. So maybe I'll re-listen to that after Operation Doomsday. What's a preschool that actually deserves a film adaptation? What? That's a weird question. That one that had nice stuff happen? I don't know. I think that's everything. Oh, we finished and it's 9:45. Okay, I think we're done. Cool. Look at that. Look at what we did there. Okay, so where are we going? Oh, dropping cards down here. Okay. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. What would your McDonald's meal be like? It would just be a fish fillet and the truth. I don't know what that means. So I want to thank everyone for being here this Saturday night. Sorry we were a little late. I think it was an interesting stream, particularly with the segments. There won't be another video till Tuesday. I'm not sure if I'll do 4 or 3 videos this week. We shall see. Won't be as much as last week, but thank you all very much. Oh, preschool show. No, they're not new cards. Sorry, just Godzilla. Oh, I dropped more. I don't know. I guess Bluey or no. I don't know. Sorry, Nathaniel Foga. I don't have a good answer. I think that's it. I think we're done. But thank you all very much for being here tonight. Sorry for the long break and how long it took and all that stuff. Okay, Cornbread, tell us that story in the Discord, but I need to go. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for all your support. Thank you, everyone, for a super chat during the show. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the likes on this video, subscribes, all that. You all are very great. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Oh, I had a really good Memorial Day weekend. Actually, I should have brought that up earlier. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I will see you all next time. Have a good night. Thank you for liking my subscribe animation. I'll see you later, and subscribe if you would like to. Thank you very much for being here. Good night.